7 new U.S. rules hit green card holders. Travel only allowed if these strict terms. Something big just happened in 2025, and if you're a green card holder or you know someone who is, you need to pay attention. New rules have been announced that make traveling outside the U.S. riskier than ever. For years, green card holders believed they had permanent stability, but in 2025, Washington is tightening the rules. Travel that used to be simple now comes with new restrictions, strict conditions, and the real possibility of losing your legal status if you make a mistake. This isn't just paperwork. These new rules could affect millions of immigrants, their families, and even America's economy. And before you think this is just about visas, remember, these are the very people paying taxes, buying homes, raising children, and helping power the U.S. workforce. So today, we're breaking down 7 new rules green card holders must follow in 2025 if they want to travel without risking everything. Stay with me until the end, because rule number 1 could leave thousands stranded at airports with no way back in. Rule number 7, extended absence is now grounds for denial. For decades, the general guideline was clear. If you're a green card holder, don't stay outside the United States for more than 6 months at a time. Beyond that, immigration officers might question whether you really live in America. But in 2025, the bar just got stricter. Under new DHS enforcement rules, even shorter absences can raise red flags. Some green card holders returning after just 4 months abroad have already been flagged for secondary inspection. Here's why this matters. Border agents are now instructed to check not only how long you were gone, but why you left, where you stayed, and even whether you kept strong ties inside the U.S. That means if you rented out your home while you were away, switched to a foreign job during your trip, or even left your children abroad for too long, officers may decide you've abandoned residency. Critics say this is unfair because many immigrants still have family overseas they need to visit. But supporters argue that permanent residency means permanent presence, and America is now enforcing that more tightly. So the new rule is simple but strict. If you're a green card holder, your clock starts ticking the moment you leave U.S. soil. Any extended stay abroad could be used against you. Rule number 6, proof of U.S. ties now required. In the past, re-entry into the U.S. for green card holders was straightforward. Show your card, answer a few questions, and you were waved through. Not anymore. In 2025, immigration officers are under new guidance. Don't just check the card, check the ties. Now, green card holders returning from abroad may be asked to show proof that they still truly live in America. That proof could include utility bills in your name, recent pay stubs from a U.S. employer, mortgage or rental agreements, or even tax filings that show your income earned in the United States. Without this, you could be flagged for residency abandonment. One case already making headlines involved a green card holder who spent 3 months caring for a sick parent abroad. When he returned, CBP officers asked for proof of U.S. employment and housing. Because he had temporarily sublet his apartment, he was told he'd have to defend his residency before an immigration judge. Critics say this is a new form of harassment, adding paperwork hurdles for people who've done nothing wrong. Supporters, however, claim it's necessary to stop people from living abroad while enjoying U.S. benefits. Here's the bottom line. If you're traveling in 2025, pack more than your passport and green card. Pack proof of your American life. Rule number 5, travel to certain countries triggers extra scrutiny. This one is creating real fear among immigrant communities. In 2025, the Department of Homeland Security quietly updated its high-risk countries list. Green card holders who visit these nations may face extended questioning, delayed re-entry, or even investigations into their loyalty. The list isn't fully public, but leaked reports suggest it includes countries under U.S. sanctions, nations accused of harboring terrorists, and even some countries with tense diplomatic ties to Washington. Here's what that means in practice. A green card holder who travels to see family in Iran, Yemen, or even parts of Eastern Europe may now be flagged at the airport. Officers can ask why you went, who you visited, and even check your social media for connections to groups Washington views as hostile. For many immigrants, this feels deeply unfair. They're being told that visiting their birthplace or aging parents abroad could cost them their residency. But immigration hardliners argue that America has to protect itself first, and that loyalty to the U.S. should outweigh ties abroad. And remember, this isn't just about suspicion. If officers believe your trip shows divided loyalty, they can hand you a notice to appear in immigration court. The message is chilling. Your travel destination alone could decide your future in America. Rule number 4, longer trips could cost you your green card. For years, immigration attorneys warned, don't stay outside the U.S. for more than 6 months without good reason. In 2025, that warning has turned into a strict rule. Here's the change. Any trip longer than 180 days now automatically triggers extra review. That means when you land back in America, the officer at the airport isn't just checking your passport, they're checking whether you've abandoned your U.S. residency. Think about it. Maybe you spent 7 months abroad because of a medical emergency, or maybe your company sent you on a long overseas assignment. In the past, you could explain yourself, and most officers would understand. Today, not so much. Cases are emerging where people with 10, even 15 years of residency are now being dragged into immigration court because they were gone too long. The scary part is this: it doesn't matter if you're home, your spouse, and your kids are still in America. If you spent too long abroad, that alone could put your green card at risk.
The United States is in fact making it harder for foreign spouses to get a green card, formerly called legal permanent residency.
Critics call it cruel, especially for immigrants who travel to care for family or handle emergencies.
Very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet.
Supporters claim it's fair. If you really want to live in America, then live here full-time. But here's the mid-video truth bomb. Life isn't always that simple. People get sick, parents age, work takes you overseas. Punishing long trips doesn't strengthen America, it just breaks apart families. Rule number 3, more screening at airports, even for legal residents. Here's the one hitting thousands of people every single day. Green card holders used to glide through airport lines with just a quick stamp. Not anymore. In 2025, Customs and Border Protection has rolled out expanded secondary screening rules. That means when you return, you may be pulled aside not because you've done anything wrong, but because of where you traveled, how long you were gone, or even just a random flag in the system. And this isn't just a quick bag check. Officers now have the authority to search your phone and laptop, review your text messages and social media, and ask probing questions about your job, your family, or even your political views. Imagine flying home after a trip to see family, only to spend 2 hours in a cold room while agents scroll through your photos and emails. That's the new reality for many immigrants in 2025. Civil liberties groups argue this violates privacy rights and unfairly targets green card holders. The government insists it's about national security and stopping threats before they enter the country. But here's the kicker. You don't even need to be accused of a crime. Simply being flagged is enough to justify the questioning. And once you're flagged once, you may get flagged again and again. One green card holder in Texas described it as living in limbo. She said, "Every time I travel, I'm terrified they'll find some reason to take my card away." And that fear is exactly why these rules feel less like routine checks and more like a warning. Your residency is conditional on the government's mood. Rule number 2, travel bans by country are back. Remember the travel bans from a few years ago? Many people thought those were gone for good. But in 2025, a quieter version is back this time, hitting green card holders directly. Here's how it works. If you visit certain countries now labeled as high risk, your re-entry into the U.S. can be delayed, or worse, denied outright. This isn't just about people applying for visas, even permanent residents are being stopped. Imagine flying out to visit your sick parents, then returning on a flight that lands in New York. At passport control, the officer tells you your green card is under review, simply because of where you traveled. Just like that, your life in America is on hold. Which countries are on this informal blacklist? Reports point to conflict zones in the Middle East, regions in Africa, and even parts of Latin America. Officials don't publish the full list, so immigrants are left guessing. That uncertainty is the point. It creates fear, hesitation, and control. Critics warn it's collective punishment, treating entire communities as suspicious because of where they come from. Supporters argue it's a security necessity in a dangerous world. But let's pause here. Who really suffers when these bans hit? It's not criminals or terrorists, it's families, parents who can't see their children, grandparents who miss weddings, workers stranded abroad, afraid their career in America is gone for good. And here's what makes this rule especially harsh. There's no clear appeal process. Once your green card is flagged, your only option may be to wait and hope. This isn't just a rule about travel, it's a rule about dignity. It's America telling immigrants, we'll decide when or if you belong here. Rule number 1, conditional residency is the new normal. Here it is, the toughest rule of 2025. For decades, a green card was seen as stable. You worked for it, you earned it. And as long as you followed the law, you could build a life in America. But now, the government is quietly rewriting what permanent means. In 2025, green cards are increasingly treated as conditional. That means long absences abroad can now be considered grounds for review. Tax problems, even minor ones, can trigger scrutiny. And even your online behavior, if it gets flagged, may put your residency at risk. And here's the part that shocks people. Your card can be taken away even if you've lived in the U.S. for 20 years. Immigration attorneys say they've never seen this level of unpredictability. It's not about whether you've broken the law. It's about whether the government decides you're truly committed to living in America. But what does committed mean? Owning property? Having kids in school? Paying taxes? Nobody knows for sure, and that's what makes this rule so powerful. The uncertainty keeps people in line. For many immigrants, it feels like the ground under their feet is shifting. They're told they belong here, but at the same time, they're reminded your status can vanish with a single decision. Supporters argue this keeps the system strong, that America should only keep people who are fully rooted. Critics warn it's a slippery slope where permanent residency becomes probation without end. And here's the deeper question. If permanent isn't really permanent, then what is the future of immigration in America? So there you have it, 7 new rules, each one reshaping what it means to be a green card holder in 2025. Some may call them necessary, others call them cruel. But one thing is certain, they're changing lives every single day. If you're a green card holder, you already know this isn't just policy, it's personal. It affects whether you can see your parents abroad, whether you can keep your job, whether your children will grow up in the country you chose. And here's the message I want to leave you with. You're not powerless. Knowing these rules, planning ahead, and staying informed can mean the difference between keeping your residency and losing everything you've built. America has always been a country of immigrants. That story is still being written, and your voice, yes, your voice matters in shaping it. Before you click away, I want to hear from you. Are you a green card holder? Have you or someone you know been affected by these rules? Share your story in the comments. And if you believe people deserve to know the truth about what's happening right now, hit like, share this video, and subscribe. This is more than just immigration policy. It's about families, futures, and what kind of nation America wants to be. Stay strong, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.